What's going on, everybody? My name is Jack Kelly, host of Point to the Spot, a US-based podcast focused on the world of football. Changing the intro today, you can find us online at Point to the Spot on Twitter. Joining the show today, a future presidential candidate, Ball for Press 2020, I Can't Stand Donald Trump's America, Andrew Ball. Andrew, my dear friend, how are you?
I'm good, man. It feels like it's been a while since we did this.
It so does.
Moving. That's what I blame my absence on.
Sheer laziness. That's what I blame my absence on.
And Reed is just in bar, I guess.
Reed gave us his 2 weeks notice, but didn't actually give us his 2 weeks notice and didn't actually quit. He's just can never be on the pod.
I think 2 weeks he'll be. Start.
I think we should just refer to Reed as our producer from here on out.
That's pretty much it. Well, we're back, and so is the EPL, Jack.
Oh, hallelujah!
To 10. How excited are you to have EPL back?
Pro Rel USA excited. That's how excited I am.
So it was exciting first 3 matches. Liverpool still can't beat bad teams. Really?
Yeah, no, everything's right.
Yeah, everything's right with Liverpool. Simon Mignolet, still not a very good goalkeeper. What do you learn? What caught your eye in the first week of matches?
Gosh. So there's so many things that you can pick out. Arsenal are bad defensively when Koscielny and Mustafi don't play. Sead Kolasinac is going to be very good for Arsenal. Jamie Vardy can actually still play football. Non-Arsenal things. Gary Cahill is shit. Cesc Fabregas is shit. The English footballing giants of Burnley carry on. I can spell Huddersfield.
Well, that's big. That's big right there. You noted in our group chat. So we all, Jack, Reed, and I, all did predictions on what the table's going to look like at the end of the year. Thinking about it, and we were talking about who we had. Well, man, I have Burnley going down, and this drew the ire of one Reed Hammond, who watched our nose at night. He really likes Burnley. Man, I don't think that they're going to be able to sustain their incredible home form from last year. And of course, the first match they go out and beat Chelsea at home.
Right, it was at the Bridge.
Better. So they might not sustain their home form, but they're going to be now they're going to go undefeated away.
Giant killers. It's incredible. I mean, other things Everton spent all this money and are still exceedingly average. They needed a Wayne Rooney wonder header to beat Stoke at home on the opening day. Southampton, Gabbiadini has lost the ability to finish 29 shots and they could not get a goal. Gosh. Brighton doesn't look scared at all, even though they've never had last Saturday, never had a player with Premier League experience.
Yeah, no, I was impressed by Brighton. I mean, City, who everyone's going to win the title, and with them. Yeah, I think that's missed. This wasn't in possession, but like you said, we're not scared at all. And aside from Cannavaro doing Cannavaro over Lewis, this would have been a Sam Allardyce 0-0 draw.
I think, interjection. Either my internet is terrible because it's storming in Madison, or your internet is terrible because I can't tell if I'm coming through clear or if you're coming through clear. And you're not coming through very clear to me.
And now you're coming out too.
I think
mine is. I think I might be on your end for once.
I think it is on my end.
Reed also edit the part out about Burnley porno at the moment.
It is like flat out monsooning right now.
R.I.P. Madison, man.
R.I.P. Madison. R.I.P. to this podcast. They're starting to make a lake in my backyard.
That's what we want.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to jump right back in on the City point.
Go for it.
Yeah, Brighton really impressed me. I mean, they hung with it at the Amex for as long as they could. Beautiful little stadium that they have there. City was Pep Guardiola average. Either his teams are great or they are just average. And they were Pep Guardiola average. And if they play that way, and obviously first game of the season, but if they play that way, so dependent on Sergio Aguero and David Silva to make something happen, they will not be within 10 points of the trophy this year.
Yeah, I like broad generalizations off of the week. And Brighton, they had energy, they had pluck because they, first week in the Prem.
Plucky.
Pretty much all those guys in the Prem. So, on the return leg, 2 months, we'll see. Brighton probably. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this was not what I expect from a team that is the bookies' favorite to win the title. I mean, a lot of questions still remain about a billion goals, but I'm not sure that there was anything out there that led me to believe tactically that team, they're necessarily going to, sure they're going to dominate Brighton, be able to run away with the title like people think. I think they will win the title. I think will be less comfortable than, But
I think tactically Guardiola set them up very poorly with two forwards, 3 in the back with Vincent Kompany not playing in the center, John Stones playing there. I don't understand what the decision-making process was at all from him going into the weekend, but I am thoroughly unconvinced if they're going to play those tactics. Granted, 1 week of the season, right? You can't make too many groundbreaking predictions or conclusions after what you see after 90 minutes.
And they won.
I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, they got 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, there was not much bite in Brighton on the final third in that game.
I mean,
what did you make of Spurs?
Mad up top. Yeah, that's not great. Go. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. We're cutting in really hardcore right now.
Go ahead. What is about me and the Brighton forwards?
Okay. Question for you. I have a question for you. Do you think that Hector Bellerin gets into the Spurs side over Kieran Trippier? No? What?
No.
Bonkers to me. What did you make of
Walker for a reason? Here.
Yes. I mean, yeah. What did you make of
Pochettino has proved to be a pretty good talent. Better, I dare say, this past 5 years than Arsene Wenger.
Hey, don't you sleep on Alex Iwobi, okay? He's coming. Reece Nelson.
Okay.
Highlight reel god. I think, can we appreciate the coincidence that Walker Peters' first name is Kyle, so he is Kyle Walker Peters, playing at right back right now for Spurs?
I'm amazed how amused by the rest of the world. The rest of the world is by, because Spurs fans have been amused by this for a while. But it's funny as hell. And why the fuck not? Well, I thought Kyle Walker Peters did very well on his debut. It was Newcastle, but it was Newcastle at Toon, which is not an easy place to go into, especially when they're all ginned up when they return to the Premier League. And he looked very much in his element. And I don't know that I want him out there against Chelsea. I will feel a lot better if Kieran Trippier is back. it's encouraging. There are a lot of concerns about how it would look now that essentially the backup until they sign, Serge Aurier or Ricardo Pereira or whoever, or no one, because it's Spurs that might happen too. I thought it was very encouraging, and he's definitely one for the future. But being man of the match in his first time out, I thought that was the big question for Spurs, and he answered it. The year for Tottenham, I thought, couldn't ask for anything more.
Can we also appreciate that Jonjo Shelvey got sent off in his first game back in the Premier League?
Oh my God, Jonjo Shelvey went peak Jonjo Shelvey and stomped on Dele Alli, and it was funny as hell.
We miss you at Swansea.
I mean, like,
we miss you at Swansea. Jonjo Shelvey. We miss you at Swansea.
Right in front of the referee. I just, yeah. I think Spurs would have broken down in June anyway, but yeah, made it a lot easier, that's for sure. Oh, yeah. Jack, do you think, out of curiosity, I want to kind of look at some of the relegation threatened teams. Do you think Newcastle stay up? Because everyone thinks they will, but do you stay up, and if so, where are they looking to finish, do you think?
I do think they stay up. Benitez is too good of a manager. I mean, they went down with him. I understand that, but it was a Band-Aid job the first time. I think they have too much quality and too much money to go down, which a lot of these other clubs don't. I will be thoroughly surprised if Swansea, now that they have sold Gylfi Sigurdsson, Brighton and Huddersfield stay in the Premier League for next season.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to say, yeah, because every year it seems like there are clear 3 will go down. And every year it seems like there's someone who absolutely underperforms and winds up going down. And last year, that was Castle. That was Newcastle.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, who that team, I mean, I said Burnley. I think it could also very easily be a team like Plus, who was in atrocious form in the last month of the season. Last year, barely stayed up as it was. And just say, actually, that Swans will go down. I think they could turn into a modern-day incarnation of Sunderland, where, you just can't kill them for 5 years, even, and eventually go down in 2022. I think Llorente will. I mean, no Sigurdsson will hurt. You lose that creative spark. But I think Llorente can. You don't need to get too many results to stay up in the Premier League. Llorente will go a long way.
36 points. That's what you're going to need this year to stay up.
What? Not bad.
I think that another team that could be potentially unbelievably bad would be Stoke.
Oh yeah.
They are sneakily have absolutely nothing going on for them whatsoever. I mean, they got
Jesse from PSG, which was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they have Shaqiri, but they just look so uninspired. Shaqiri is their main attacking option, and that's not what you want out of your wing 5'6" Swiss player. Well, I don't know. They have Kurt Zouma on loan from Chelsea, which could be, a boost to them defensively. But I think that they could be one of those teams that is actually, come April, is looking, down beneath them, and there might not be too many clubs there.
Yeah. I mean, you see lots of talent. Jack Butland, decent keeper. They have a bunch of on their team because it's Stoke, I guess. The thing that to me is almost the big tell in teams that go down is depth. you might be okay. At depth to get results week in and week out, I still don't really have that. A lot of teams are thin, kind of at the table, where literally anything I think this year could happen. You know, you look at teams from like 8th all the way down to maybe like 18th, and like trying to rank them is tough because there's not a lot of difference there. So like, you know, I feel like things like who's going to get bit by the injury bug really will have a say in where teams finish. Able to keep that core, that nucleus, you know, the Shaqiri, Bruno Martins, Indy, Ryan Ross, those. It's going to be the team that will overperform, and the team that, you know, is the trainer's room will be the team that might be relegation. I think.
I think that's a. I know. I do think that's a fair evaluation. I mean, individual players can carry clubs like that so far, in terms of, or a couple of players can carry a club so far, or far enough if they have enough quality in a league like the Premier League, where, you know, you don't need to score 4 goals, and you don't need to score 4 goals to win a lot of games. I think that
Arsenal.
Hey, you watch yourself, okay? We got Stoke away this week. I'm actually very excited to be playing Stoke away in August rather than in February.
Oh, wow. Aren't we all? Wouldn't we all?
An interesting point that you brought up there, keeping that core together. I think that's something that Arsenal might actually be able to be successful in doing this season. And not necessarily, I mean, obviously fitness is question mark always, but just the way that they play. I was really impressed when Giroud came on on Friday against Leicester, and how seamlessly Lacazette went out to the wing and how well he played, even though he was no longer playing down the center of the park. And I think that's going to be a huge advantage to them to be able to bring a player on for Giroud, for, you know, a Granit Xhaka or a Coquelin, or, you know, even take off one of the center backs and move to a more offensive position, like, you know, more like on Friday, late on in a game, and really still have him be a serious threat. Because I think that he looked really good in his debut, just didn't he didn't kill the ball dead with his touch. He was always trying to turn it on a defender. So I think that if, you know, Arsenal can stay fit, I think they have a lot of options, and I think it'll be important that they play together all of the time. In that if we're going to make changes, you're not taking off someone like Lacazette, or you're taking off someone like Alexis or Ozil. You're taking off, you know, Rob Holding. You're having Mustafi and Koscielny slide over at a 2 in the back, and then you're bringing on a forward like Giroud, who obviously, you know, the super sub. I don't know why we even bother. Chicharito should feel threatened by the super sub status by Olivier Giroud. That's all I have to say about that.
Not wrong. I mean, so my thing with Arsenal is, Liverpool, I could see any of those teams being, or winning the goal. But, you know, if we're going to think of them, in my mind, United have the best depth. They're, at least at this point, the clear top 2. I think we probably can do that. But those 4 next teams, I mean, like I said before, it's going to be whoever is going to be able to keep that nucleus together. And like if you said that's Arsenal's able to do that, I think things bode well for them. I'm not sure they can. I think they're pretty thin in the back. You know, Europa's not going to be kind to them, I don't think. But, you know, who knows? It's a long season. They could also go sign someone in the waiting days of the transfer window to make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, you want a scalding hot take here? I like full. I don't think we will be seeing a lot of the Lacazettes and the Ozils and the Alexises, or even the Girouds in games like that. I think we'll be seeing the Reece Nelson, start Lucas Perez if he sticks around, even though I don't think that's likely. I don't I don't think that it's going to be high priority for the Gunners this season, despite what Wenger has said.
Well, you say that now, but I mean, like, which they probably will. I mean, depends who they draw. But even with playing their backups, I think it's probably stronger than whoever, unless they get a real group of death, and whoever they draw. If they're not doing so hot in the league, they make it out of the group stage, I could definitely see Wenger pulling a Mourinho and saying, you know what, we're going to go for it, and we're going to try and win. And if that's going to be our only way to get Champions League football next year around, I mean, he's not going to really have a ton of options if they're sitting in sixth, in December. I could very easily see them going for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Like, I think back to the League Cup of 2 seasons ago, when in the round of 32, he played an entire first team side to go out, and they beat Spurs 2-0 because it was a North London derby, and he didn't want to lose for pride reasons. And then we played Southampton at home in the next game, and there was not a single first team starter.
Yeah.
So, it could be one of those things.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think that just because now, end of the, spread of Champions League qualification, EPL teams in the Europa League, a bit of a predicament. If you finish, depending on how you're doing in the league, hell to go for it, like Mourinho did last year. We'll see. I think it would be really funny if Liverpool lose in the away Hoffenheim, get dumped into Europa.
They are. My bold prediction, I don't remember what his name is. Something Christensen is the managerial prodigy in charge of Hoffenheim. Gonna out Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool, see ya in the Europa League. Hot take.
Nagelsmann. Whatever name you just said. People forget that when Jurgen Klopp led Dortmund to the title a ways back, I think maybe the only team they lost to was Hoffenheim. Number.
I absolutely love it. Now, speaking of Europa League champions, Manchester United, very impressive. Romelu Lukaku is a man's man, and I said it as soon as he got to a team where he could get quality service, because he did not get it at Everton. He is just going to be so dominant, and oh my gosh, did we see it on Sunday. Manchester United looked like Manchester United of the Ferguson age on Sunday. They looked freaky good.
They were also playing West Ham, and as one Reed Hammond would very quickly note, Romelu Lukaku owned West Ham. Few other people own material possessions. So, I will also say Lukaku should have struck around Everton, because he didn't get a lot of service, but Everton has signed, I think, 50 billion attacking midfielders this summer. Stuck around a little bit.
There's that. Do you know what else I take issue with?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll get back to you on the Manchester United point. I have seen far too many Premier League predictions that have Everton finishing above Arsenal in the table, and that is just completely bonkers to me, because top to bottom, that Everton team does not even scrape Arsenal's bench in a lot of positions. They are going to be so average again. They spent a lot of money on players that are not going to get them in a competitive, top 6 race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that about they wouldn't scrape Arsenal, but I think there is certainly a gap still, even with all that money that they spent, between Everton in 7th and whoever finishes 6th.
100%. It's going to be, yes, sorry, continue. Manchester United.
Manchester United. If you can't tell, we're recording this podcast at 10 p.m. Central Time, 11 p.m. Eastern. So takes are even worse than usual. I agree with you that I think Lukaku will be. I mean, it's a freezing cold take, but he'll fit in perfectly to Jose Mourinho's system. I mean, he's what they were missing. And that sounds a little weird to say because they had Zlatan, but Zlatan may have the cult of personality surrounding him, but at the bottom, he's not exceptional for Manchester United last year. Is that fair to say? Good. I don't know that he informed that side. Jack Kelly, I don't believe you can hear me.
Nope. Was that a question about the comparison between would Ibrahimovic be effective again this season? Because that's what I was going to guess and go ahead and ramble on about.
It's like, I think actually people will focus on Lukaku. Nemanja Matic might be the most influential signing they made this summer. If only for the reason now that Paul Pogba is freed up, do what he's more comfortable with in the midfield, and have some freedom to roam, which is, I think, more going to be the role that he had at Juventus, and obviously was among the world's best at doing so. Matic and Herrera can kind of stay home and take our business in the center of the park. Moving back to Lukaku, though, Jack, it's fair to say that Zlatan was not overwhelmingly good and impressive in his 1 year in Premier League football, right?
I think Lukaku, no,
great,
but he was good. Was he good at was he better than another good striker in the Premier League? Andy Carroll. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I was waiting for those Zlatan was not better than Olivier Giroud take, and I'm deeply disappointed it did not come.
It came to mind, but I bit my own bullet. I don't know if obviously he got better service and was on a much better team, but if you would have put Llorente onto a team like Manchester United, who's to say that he would not also have used his gigantic body and great athleticism to score goals like Ibrahimovic did?
Yeah, love Zlatan. I think also just people overlook. He was very good for Manchester United. It's kind of silly that in some ways to have this discussion, but we'll take the attributes that Zlatan added to that Manchester United lineup and just even further. In my mind, that's why United are the one team. Who knows?
Who knows?
Jack is frozen.
This is such a shit show. I've been getting every for the last half an hour. We're cutting it. Intro, outro, here we go. Well, guys, that's all the time that we have today. We hope that you enjoyed our aimless rambling about football. Of course, you can find us both on the social as the absent Reed Hammond would refer to it. Andrew, where can I find you on the Twitterverse? At Andrew HL. Of course, guys, you can find me at actual Jack Kelly. I am actually Jack Kelly after all. Make sure to follow the show at Point to the Spot. That's with the number 2. We've got a big lineup of international guests coming up here. We're going to further explore Asian and Middle Eastern football, and we're super excited about that. But until next time, take care. Thanks for listening.